Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well. And you join me today in War Thunder, and you may notice something a little bit different. We have 10.0 tanks. Yes, 10.0 is now a thing. Now this is big news because it means that things like the Type 74 is no longer going to face the Abrams. It means that the Russians, who don't have a tier 10.0 BR tank, but the T-55, the IT-1, you know, these are no longer going to face those top tier tanks, technically. The XM1s are not necessarily going to be facing the top tier tanks. Same with the MBTs, the MT-70s. So the XM803 may no longer face the M1s, or, well, not that it would. But it won't face those top tier tanks quite as much. And this can be a good thing and a bad thing. Now, you're still going to have these tanks facing each other, of course. But it does mean that there's less likelihood. But the big thing is 10.0. That is a big number. We reached 10.0 tanks before planes, and, you know, we thought planes were going to get on and on. You know, planes were the bread and butter of War Thunder, but tanks are now the main thing for the game. So, what is 10.0 gameplay like? Well, let's give it a try and find out, shall we? So, this may make the queue time a little bit longer for people in the 10.0 vehicles. And it may make the queue time a little bit longer for people who are a little bit lower as well. It's an interesting decision made by Gaijin for this meta, I would say. It really does make the gameplay a bit different. It's not a huge change, but it's enough to make a difference for some people. It's just going to make it a little bit easier for some of those lower tier tanks. They're not constantly going to be facing, you know, these super modern tanks like the Leo, the Type 90 and the Abrams. Let's get started, shall we? So it could make playing things like the Type 74 a lot less painful. Now, the Type 74, if that is your lineup, with, you know, if that is your basic lineup, you're not going to face these top tier tanks anymore. And that's going to make a huge difference to you. It's going to make it a lot easier. Oh, Leo just spawned in right there. That's always nice. And we've got a load of 2Ks heading towards B, so I doubt they're going to wait for us at Bravo. So that's going to get capped out very quickly, and nobody else on the team is going to get any spawn points, of course. Because, you know, teamwork, it's not for us. We don't need teamwork. Who wants teamwork? Will we get in there in time? Yes, we did. We just snuck in there. Alright, we're going to try and get around the corner here and just start holding off this corner section. I don't know what we're facing. We're facing Americans, so we're facing Yanks and Russians. So the Ruskies and the Americans. Which is an odd pairing, in all honesty. Let's poke our head around here. We're going to get a guy driving up our arse, which is just perfect. Okay, there is some arty going off down there. I'm going to use that to our advantage to get to this position, and there is definitely a tank coming. So we're going to top down here, and this Leo is going to go in front of us. Leo's taken out the Abrams. We can't see because this guy's in the way. Loader and cannon breach. Okay, right. Hopefully this guy does not keep getting behind me. Fuck off. Dude, seriously. You're in a 2K. Don't sit there, you dickhead. Oh, what a dumbass. And we're being flanked. Are we being flanked? What the hell is shooting at me? What the hell is just... Yeah, we've been flanked. Oh, great. Fucking useless teams. So yeah, basically, teams are still useless. How the hell did we get... Like, seriously, that 2K just got in my way to completely... Let me spawn in, will you? So, yeah, basically it's just going to make gameplay a little bit better, hopefully. Although top tier is still basically just cancer. Honestly, top tier is not fun for anybody. It really is not a fun gameplay experience. And that is still problematic. In a lot of ways. You know, American teams still have a lot of problems of, you know, basically just having a lot of new players on their teams. Hello, we've got a Russian tank zooming across there. Will we get a... Okay. You know, it really isn't an enjoyable experience playing top tiers still. Because it's just... Well, as I said in some previous videos, it just isn't what it's meant to be. You know, your top tier tanks are not these super high-tech vehicles with, you know, proper sights and stuff. They're still basically playing like a World War II tank, which just... I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get what they were thinking. You know, like, basically, you've just got these super advanced tanks, you know, the advanced armor and the advanced, you know, guns, but that's it. The actual optics, the actual handling, you know, nothing is really that advanced. And why do I feel like I'm just going to pop out and just see a fucking Abrams in front of me or something? Or behind me? So, basically, 10.0 tanks. What does it mean? Well, it doesn't really mean much, in all honesty. It just means that we've got something new to basically tool around with. That Abrams is dead. Okay, we've got a guy. No, wait, that's a dead tank. That's not a guy. God, if I die to artillery right now, I'm going to be so annoyed. But yeah, it's... From what I've seen, it's not made a huge difference, 10.0 tanks. You know, it really just hasn't changed much of the meta. You know, it has meant that some vehicles are no longer there, but, you know, the American teams are still getting their asses handed to them every single game, pretty much. You know, the Abrams is still an okay tank. It still does its job okay, but it is really no match for the Type 90s and the Leos. You know, the Leo is a bloody monster of a tank, and, you know, the Abrams just in game just doesn't have that greatness. And that's pretty much game. So that's basically 10.0 tanks for you. Out with the old boss, in with the new boss, same as the old boss, basically. Nothing has really changed. Everything is still very much the same. And pretty much, yeah, it's same as ever, really. 10.0 has not really made a difference, but we have had some other BR changes. A couple of vehicles have had their BRs tweaked, and yeah, that will make a bit of difference, but the problem doesn't lie with the tank compression and the BR ratings and stuff like that of tanks. The problem lies with the gameplay. The problem lies with the game mechanics. The problem lies with these modern vehicles not having modern equipment. It's a bigger problem than just tweaking the BR, and that's something that Gaijin need to actually realise. And they're not. They're not listening to the community. They're not listening to anybody. Screw you, horse. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get this horse. Die! Die, horse! Die, you stupid pony. No, invincible pony. Invincible pony column. Such shame. Such sadness. But, you know, I probably just wasted about, you know, 4,000, 5,000 lines worth of ammunition there just shooting at a horse. But the problem still lies, and the problem is still there very much for top tier gameplay. It just fundamentally is not fun. You know, these tanks are too quick for these smaller maps. They're too advanced for... Might get lucky and get a plane kill here. I doubt it. But they're too advanced. You know, they've gone too advanced too quickly. You know, if they stuck to sort of the 1970s, your sort of Vietnam era vehicles, they could have developed things like the infrareds and night optics and things like that, and actually developed that into gameplay. Because currently that's not there. All this is basically just a, you know, it very much is just, well, you might as well just be playing COD. That's the thing, you're just playing an FPS. That's all you're doing, and essentially, yes, that's all you're doing with any of the vehicles, is you're playing an FPS, but you've just got tracks instead of, you know, feet. But these vehicles just go way too fast. They're too advanced for the sort of current game engine, and there are problems, and the problems lie with the armor. You know, the game doesn't quite register the armor correctly. The game engine doesn't quite get the armor correctly, and it really does make a big difference to the gameplay. And it just, as I said, there's still just fundamental problems with top tier. You know, luckily I've got a premium account and we did win that match, so I didn't lose money, which is nice. But 10.0 has not made the slightest bit of difference really to how the game reacts. The problems are still there, and they still haven't fixed the problems. They're still using a band-aid solution for it. And until they actually properly fix the true problems, it's not going to work. They just don't seem to grasp the concept that there's fundamental problems with what we have at the moment, and it's not going to be fixed until you actually start putting a bit more effort into it. And although the dev teams are not the same, like the dev teams of making vehicles and fixing problems are not the same, so it doesn't matter. They're going to make vehicles the same amount of time as they fix problems. But when you're an actual player, it does feel very much like you're being ignored. And it does feel like problems are being ignored because they seem to be putting out these fancy new vehicles every couple of months and not fixing the fundamental issue, which is that matches are just... they're not really that fun. That's a typical top tier match. If you're on the German side... well, if you're on anything but the American side, you're going to pretty much ruffle stomp everything and just win. If you're playing as Americans, or you're playing with Americans, you're going to lose. And that's just simply because there are a few players coming in with the XM1, which just isn't up to scratch at these top tiers. It isn't able to compete, really, at 10.0. This thing is not able to compete properly because it's a prototype and the armor isn't there. Like, it has got some composite armor, but it's bugger all. The composite armor is barely there. It has got the shell capable of doing damage, but again, it's not strong enough. It's just not quite there. It's not quite up to par. And they are sort of substandard players as well a lot of the time. And I'm not being mean to anybody that has the XM1, the Xbox players, and anyone who bought it that isn't used to top tier gameplay, but they could buy it, say, and not have played tanks at all, and that's the problem that you do get a lot of the time. And that is the thing that is causing the issue at top tier, and that is why the Americans are having such a hard time, because they have inexperienced players. And yes, they are gaining experience, but it just takes a long time. Until they fix the fundamental problems of the game, these band-aid solutions are not going to really help. Alright guys, well, I hope you kind of found this useful or enjoyable or whatnot. Let me know in the comments below what you think about 10.0 and what you think about these sort of like temporary sort of almost solutions that they seem to be having. And I will catch you all next time. Thanks. Bye bye.